Well, Monday. Joining me over there in Alabama is my co-host, Arky, Shea. Arky, how's our Monday so far?
The Monday's good. It's the week that everyone wants to skip to get to Christmas, but not in my house. We're a turkey and dressing and stuffing and pie eating family, and we will refuse to admit there's a Christmas until Thanksgiving's happened. Thank you very much.
We are aligned on that. I love Thanksgiving. What's not to love? Food, family, football, the Macy's parade. Does anyone watch that besides me? No, Thanksgiving week is great. I'm so pumped. This is a fun week. It's a shorter week, but let's kick this thing off.
How about it? Let's get after it, 2K. Come on now.
All right, we're going to start where we usually start every day, and that is a bet last night to see how our bets did over the weekend. And I don't want to brag, but I was 8 for 12, I think. I tweeted the wrong thing last night, but yeah. It was a pretty good weekend for me. Arky, how did you do?
Well, I gotta be honest with you, 8 and 4 for a football weekend that was tough. It was a tough football weekend, college and pro-wise. That is a very, very good mark. So how about a little bit of a golf clap for Miss Kayla Knierim? What a
I think
nice
I'll pat myself on the back if I do say so myself.
Yeah, well, careful. You might hurt yourself. Don't do it too much. My bets didn't do nearly as well. I had a tough start to the NFL slate yesterday. Wrapped it up nicely with a couple of unders that went pretty well. So really enjoyed the ending of that. I just tried to watch some of the Chargers-Steelers game, which had 41 fourth-quarter points.
Woo!
41.
Wild.
That was bizarre. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre game. But good thing I wasn't on that game. That was a weird one.
Yes. One game that we actually have to touch on is the Chiefs-Cowboys game. I took my team, which is a betting commandment no-no, at -2.5. And, of course, that hit. Chiefs 19, Cowboys 9, which means, Arky, this week you will be rapping about the game on the show. Are you excited? I am.
Kayla, I'm a lot of things. I am a raconteur, if you will. Well-versed in the hip-hop game, I am not. I begrudgingly, when Dak Prescott threw that pick in the fourth quarter, trying to come back in, I started writing the rap then. I will be ready this week. You guys will hear on this program the debut of the albino rhino on OutKick Bets.
Stay tuned. That'll be coming up Wednesday, I believe. We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
Another betting commandment I broke again. I took Mizzou plus 9.5. Arky, that one hit. Thank you very much. Mizzou 24, Florida 23. That effectively got Dan Mullen fired. Florida's running backs coach Greg Knox will be stepping in as interim coach. In the meantime, I know you want to talk about this one because you actually called this last week.
Yes, so here's the thing. If you bet on Dan Mullen to do anything well in Florida this season, you're wrong. You're dumb, and you deserve to lose your money. That's just how it is. Florida has been an abject failure since the Alabama game, and that's many, many weeks ago at this point. And Dan Mullen was near the top of the list of coaches to get fired, or the next one to get fired on that list. And Dan Mullen did get fired, and he is now gone. Now up near the top of the list, Miami's Manny Diaz, around +350 or so, depending on where you're looking this morning. Yeah, he may be one of the next ones to go, even though they got a dub. Well, they got an unfortunate game against Florida State. Listen, Miami's just unfortunate in general. Let's just say it right now.
Yes, couldn't agree more. All right, we're going to do a little weekend recap run-through. Arky, feel free to chime in with anything that caught your eye. Obviously, number 4, OSU stomped number 7, Michigan State, 56-7, 49 zip at the half. Certainly a statement win. They now sit at number 2 in the AP polls. Arkansas held their own against Bama in a 42-35 final. Mizzou plays Arkansas this weekend. Not really looking forward to that. But perhaps the biggest shock of the weekend may have been the Pac-12 after dark game when Utah nearly silenced number 3 Oregon in a 38-7 final. The Utes led 28-0 at the half and held the Ducks to just one touchdown in the third quarter. So, Arky, will this finally be the week that still unbeaten Cincinnati breaks into the top four?
I think so. I think they will be in the top four. Whether they'll stay there is a whole different story because other teams have much bigger games and much more quote-unquote important and Power 5 friendly championship games still coming up. But that was a huge win. They picked a good week to start kicking some major butt out there. I tweeted on Saturday morning, I thought today was going to be a good day for some football, and it wasn't actually. There was a lot of beatdowns happening around college football, a lot of them in very important games. And luckily for Cincinnati, they got their act together for this week to still look good enough to get to the 4. So I think they'll be your number 4 team when we get to the Tuesday night rankings. And after that, I mean, we'll see. You still got the SEC championship game coming up. You got the Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn coming up. Ohio State, Michigan's this week. A lot of movement can still happen. But I think right now, Cincinnati's going to be your number 4 team.
Woo! Of course, the updated rankings will be coming out Tuesday night, and we'll be discussing any movement on the show Wednesday. Moving over to the NFL, that Green Bay Vikings game was fun with a capital F-U-N. Just when you thought the Vikings might run away with it, Aaron Rodgers was like, not so fast. We got a good back and forth there, and then the Vikings sealed the deal as Justin Jefferson caught his second TD pass of the day, who, by the way, went off 8 receptions for 169 yards, and of course, those 2 touchdowns. I just love a good rivalry game. That was a really good one. The biggest head scratchers of the day came in the Texans-Titans game. Houston had the lead for the entire game. Yes, the now 2-8 Texans against the number 1 team in the AFC South, so that one was weird. Along with the Colts-Bills shocker with a 41-15 final. Hey, if the teams that were good in the AFC now have to be bad to make way for the Chiefs, then Arky, I'm okay with that. But what surprised you the most this weekend with your bets, and how did they go?
It was another bloodbath for the home favorites and for the public in general. The home favorites were 4-10.
Wow.
4-10. I'm sorry, 3-11. That's my fault. 3-11 against the spread this week. 3-11. It was a very, very bad week. If you like home dogs and home favorites, or excuse me, road dogs and road favorites, you did pretty well. You did pretty darn well this weekend. It was a wild one figuring out since. I can't tell you how surprised I was more for the Titans' loss, the way they did to the Texans, even though I thought the Texans would cover the double digits, or the fact that Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts ran all over the number 1 defense in the NFL and the Buffalo Bills this weekend in sweet, sweet Buffalo. I don't know. It was a bizarre weekend of football. It was a fun weekend of football. It was an interesting one, too. But that one, Sunday was also filled with a lot of madness.
It's been a bizarre week every weekend in NFL and college football. There's just like weird losses and wins that you never saw coming. But that's what makes it fun. It's what keeps us coming back for more.
It is. And that's what also makes it so hard to sort of make the money on. That's why you watch OutKick Bets.
That's why you should listen to me.
That's right. 8-4 2K. That's right.
8-4. I mean, yeah, I'll take it. All right, let's head into our game of the day, that, of course, being Monday Night Football. All of these lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. We've got the 3-6 Giants, who are 1-3 on the road at the Bucks, 6-3, 4-0 at home. Tampa Bay, right now, the 10.5-point favorite with a total of 49.5. Giants are coming off an extra long break, having had a bye week into the Monday night game. They also entered the game off a win over the Raiders nearly 2 weeks ago and have won 2 of their last 3. Bucks, on the other hand, interestingly enough, enter this matchup coming off back-to-back losses to the Saints and Washington, respectively. Arky, how are you betting this one tonight?
So it's an interesting one. Yet again, Monday Night Football pits us an interesting one with a double-digit home favorite tonight against the Giants. And the Giants are going to be without a couple of very key pieces of that team. Their star safety, Logan Ryan's going to be out of this game, definitely. Sterling Shepard, the top receiver, is going to be out of this game. The top 2 running backs, Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker, are questionable for this game at this point. I'm not quite sure there's a lot to love about the Giants. The Giants will have to really rely on Daniel Jones, and we know what that sort of means with Daniel Jones. It doesn't mean a lot of great things in general when you go against Tampa. And Tampa's a really, really, really good rush defense. They're the best in the league in the rush defense. So for me to try to like anything with the Giants is tough, but also double-digit favorites at home, are interesting. Let's just say that's interesting when both teams are filled with players that are getting paid. It's still a professional game with pros on the line. So I sort of pay attention to the total at 50 or 50.5, 49.5. If you're getting in that area, I like it to go under because I think we're going to see a comfortable win for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight. Now, whether it's 10 points or 14 or 8 points, I'm not quite sure yet. I feel like I don't like to lay the double digits at home tonight for Tampa Bay. So what I will pay attention to is the under because I don't think we're going to see a lot of points from the Giants tonight. Also, 2K,
yes,
I did a little digging in this game. I did a little more digging to try to find something I think is going to work out nicely for us. So I'm going to go with the first quarter and a second quarter bet. Are you ready?
Ooh, I like it, yes.
All right, so the first quarter, 10 is the total amount of points expected to be scored, so, quote unquote, for you to bet. And so if you go under that, you would be pretty good if you're the Giants. They're 9-1 under for the 10 points in the first quarter of this season, while Tampa Bay is 3-1 at home over the 10 points. That one sort of canceled out for me. The second quarter, that's the money quarter for both these two teams. Both of these two teams are averaging nearly 16 points in their games in the second quarter. The number right now is 14.5 over at FanDuel, and if you go over, that gets you plus money. Now, it doesn't matter who gets you over to a 14.5 as long as both of them score the 15 or more. And I really like that one a lot. So let's go to plus money tonight. I think it's plus 121 last time I saw it on FanDuel. Over 14.5 second quarter points in this here matchup.
You're making this one fun. I like it.
Yeah, listen, the under is the best total for the best number for me in this game as far as the spread and the total is concerned. But I keep digging into this game, and both of these two teams sort of get a little wonky when it comes to the second quarter, and it makes sense. The first quarter, you're feeling each other out a little bit. The second quarter, boom, offenses are heading ready for the races for whatever they may have before the half. So I like the overs 14.5 second quarter points.
Okay, I like that. Unlike you, I am taking the spread here. Didn't really know what to do with it. It seems obvious, but it also seemed obvious that the Bucs wouldn't lose to Washington by 10 and that the Giants wouldn't play the Chiefs within 3. But as we know this season, crazy things are happening. With that said, all signs point to the Bucs to cover, Arky, which is what I'm taking. They are at home and have won 7 in a row at home. We know they are not happy about those back-to-back losses. Gronkowski, who has been out for the better part of the last 6 weeks, will potentially make his return, but it'll likely be a game-time decision. The Giants, like you said, are, of course, without star running back Saquon Barkley. He is also up in the air. So here it goes. The Giants are 5-4 against the spread and have covered the spread in 13 of their last 14 road games when playing an NFC team. The Buccaneers are 3-6 against the spread this season and are 3-1 against the spread at home. I like those odds. Here is the kicker, though. Tampa Bay has been favored by 10.5 or more 3 times this season, and they are 3-0 against the spread in those games. So that's why I'm feeling this one. The total has gone over in 6 straight Giants versus Bucs meetings, by the way. The Bucs have gone over this total of 49.5 in 6 out of 9 games so far this season, while New York has exceeded that total twice. Tampa Bay is putting up an average of 31 points per game compared to the Giants' 19.9. However, both teams are allowing close to the same amount of points per game, with the Giants at 24 and the Bucs at 23. So there's no way Brady and company are going to lose 3 in a row, especially at home. I know the injuries have been an issue, like you mentioned. The defense has been an issue, but I'm going to take my chances with the quarterback who is 3rd in passing yards at over 2,800 and 1st in touchdowns with 27. So give me the Bucs here, minus 10.5. And while I would lean the under with you, I'm just going to stay away from the total and take the spread. There's just too many unknowns as to what weapons will be playing and who's available. And like we said, will probably be a game-time decision.
Yeah, I think it's the smart play if you're going to play the spread is to play it in front of Tampa. I think that's a smart call by you if you're going to play the spread. I'm going to stick away from it, even though the money has sort of kept the number around 10.5, 11, and 11.5. It's sort of bounced back and forth throughout the week. And the money spend is even as you're probably going to get in a matchup like this, about 53 to 47 roughly on the Tampa side. So I think the 11 is probably a pretty safe bet, 10.5, 11 if you get it there. It very easily could be a 2-touchdown game by the time that Tom Brady's done.
Here's to hoping.
Here's hoping.
All right, that'll do it for Monday Night Football. Moving on to our spotlight matchup, we're heading to college basketball. Number 19, Ohio State, who are 3-1 at Seton Hall, who is 3-0. However, this game is live from Fort Myers, Florida. Seton Hall currently the 1.5-point favorite with a total here of 138.5. Arky, who do you like in this game?
It's the LOC special. Seton Hall, the Pirates are 3-0 on the season, and they're killing the spread too. While Ohio State is 3-1 on the season, and Ohio State coming off a bummer loss to Michigan last week, while Ohio State lost to Xavier.
Yeah.
I should say. Seton Hall beat up on Michigan last week when they played. I think a week ago tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Wednesday. And then if we pay attention to Michigan, they also just got punched in the mouth by Arizona last night. So trying to extrapolate that this early in the season, hard to tell. I want to talk about Kevin Willard, if I can, for a moment, the head coach for Seton Hall, who
Please
is
do.
17. He had 17-10 in these championship-type tournaments, and he's won 2 of them, including one just 2 years ago. He plays 10 dudes. He plays a significant amount of bodies, a significant amount of minutes, and that's huge. That's the reason why they're only allowing opponents to hit 13% from 3 this season. 13%! Woo! And 31% for the field overall. That defense is solid. There's a good reason why they are the favorite in this game, even though it's a small favorite. Ohio State's just 1-3 against the spread this season, and I've lost money a couple times on them. Not today. Let's go Pirate up. Pirates from Fort Myers, -1.5. We're going Seton Hall to start the season, 4-0, baby.
All right. Love the enthusiasm there. As you mentioned, Buckeyes coming off a loss to Xavier. Pirates looking to pick up their 4th straight win after the most recent over Michigan. Seton Hall is 4-1. In those 5. And it's gone over in 3 of the Buckeyes' last 5. Won a game in rebounds at 6.5, while Bryce Aiken leads the Pirates, averaging 12.3 points. Because this is a neutral site, I'm going to go with the ranked team. And even though my heart wants to pick Seton Hall, especially since our lovely producer, Lauren, went to Seton Hall, it's her alma mater. Sorry, Lauren. I'm going to pick OSU as they are the 1.5-point dog. So let's see. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, Ohio State, the losses against the spread, I should mention, have been because they were huge favorites and they just didn't cover. This
True.
time they're the underdog. We'll see.
We'll see. Taking the dog. All right, next up, we're going to do a fun little Thanksgiving prop bet special all this week. So today's is, are you ready, Arky? The highest scoring game on Turkey Day. We've got Chicago at Detroit, Las Vegas at Dallas, and Buffalo at New Orleans. Walk us through this, pal.
Well, so the numbers you're about to see on the screen are the amount of points scored and given up by each respective team. So just to give you an idea of where we're sort of paying attention to these games. And, you know, I as a hurt Cowboys fan, I want to start with the Cowboys game when the Cowboys are taking on the Raiders. And listen, we got a couple of games that are going to be freaking mauled by injuries, key player injuries, and this is one of them. The Cowboys are going to be without Amari Cooper again for the COVID-19 protocols. He is unvaccinated and has to stay out for the 10 days, so it's going to be impossible for him to be able to come back for this game. And now CeeDee Lamb's going to be out for the game. Got a concussion last night trying to beat those Kansas City Chiefs. Dirty Chiefs. Although it wasn't their fault. Still dirty Chiefs. So
that game was chippy.
Okay. All right. Enough talking about that. That hurt. So the Cowboys, Dak Prescott's going to be without a couple of really big weapons in that game. And you could tell the loss of Amari Cooper hurt because he had a couple of guys like Wilson dropping passes that he should have had. And Dak was being forced to force the ball. So I'm a little worried there. While Derek Carr's found his team losing 3 straight games and he's taking the blame for all 3 of those, I don't know how good that passing offense and that offense is going to be that week. Then I look at Buffalo, who is, I don't even want to. You kind of hope you just sort of disregard the game against the Colts, but you kind of can't when you've seen some of the recent struggles on defense. It was a tough look and tough scene for them. And then you have a Saints team who also just got punched in the mouth by the Eagles, but they got punched in the mouth by the physicality of the Philadelphia Eagles. They just ran the ball at them over and over and over again, and they put up all kinds of points. Even Jalen Hurts was sitting there breaking dudes' ankles and looking good in that game. And then there's a game that's probably not going to score any points, to be honest with you. And that's going to be the Lions and the Bears. And the Bears have Justin Fields, who have himself some bruised up ribs. X-rays were negative on him, though. And the Lions probably will have Jared Goff back, although he hurt his oblique before the Pittsburgh game. He sat out Sunday for sort of precautionary and he was hurt issues. Because if you bring Tim Boyle back in, dude threw for 77 yards. That ain't great for as far as scoring points. So if I'm going to lean at this point, I'm probably, oddly enough, even though two defenses are very good in this game, I think I'm going to lean toward the Bills and the Saints for the highest scoring game.
I'm with you, friend. I'm going to run through these as well. Yes. Chicago's averaging, I'm going to start with we're going to go in order here. Chicago averaging 16.7, Detroit averaging 16.7. Also, as you mentioned, Justin Fields left the game with a rib injury. Andy Dalton stepped in throwing 2 TDs. Jared Goff missed the team's game this weekend with an oblique injury. Like you said, Tim Boyle stepped in throwing 77 yards and 2 interceptions. Not ideal. So I have no idea what to make of this game. We have no idea who's going to be playing at quarterback for these teams. I'm definitely not picking this one as the highest scoring or largest margin of victory. Vegas is averaging 23.3. Dallas averaging 31.6. Again, there's too many unknowns. Feeling sorry for the Raiders is not a sentence, by the way, I ever imagined coming out of my mouth, but they have been dealt a pretty bad hand over the last month, and it's definitely showing. They've lost 3 straight in those games, have combined for just 43 Arky total points in 3 games. Yikes. Dallas is, yes, averaging 31.6 a game. In their last 2 losses, they combined for just 25 total points also. However, Thanksgiving is what the Cowboys live for. They are at home. Turkey legs will be present, and they want to be the ones eating them when it's all said and done. So I still don't know that they're going to be the highest scoring game, which brings me to Buffalo, New Orleans, who's averaging 31.1 points, New Orleans 24.7. Yes, so without further ado, I am picking this game as the highest scoring game in this Bills-Saints matchup. Based on the stats, this should be the keyword, be the highest scoring game. But watch the joke be on all of us and it be the Bears-Lions game who decide to go off and run up the highest score.
If it's the Bears, the Lions, you're doing the Monday show without me. That's what's happening. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way.
Deal.
What do you think about the largest margin of victory? Like, who do you think is going to be the biggest blowout in this game? Because I don't think it's the Bills and the Saints.
I think it's going to be Vegas, Dallas, based on what I just said. With Vegas not being in the right headspace, they, I don't know, they just haven't gotten it done these last 3 weeks. I think Dallas thrives on Thanksgiving. They're going to be home at Jerry's World, and I can totally see them running away with this one and leaving Vegas in the dust.
See, I think it's going to be Detroit and Chicago.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, like, listen, you got fans chanting "Fire Matt Nagy" during that game when they're blowing the lead at the end again. Although they haven't got many leads under Matt Nagy, let's be honest. So I think if you get Jared Goff back, and this is what I'm banking on for this to be able to happen.
Oh, so you're picking Detroit to run away with it?
If you get Jared Goff back, I think that there is a legitimate statement to be made that this Chicago Bears team is about ready to mail it in. They've got a bunch of big injuries on this team. Khalil Mack's one of those dudes who hasn't been able to play recently, but he's out for the season. I think you got a really beat up, a physically and emotionally beat up team in Chicago. I think this is a good spot for Detroit to get that win. I got to be honest with you.
Okay, because I was going to ask, well, who's going to be running away with the score in this game? It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I think all 3 games will be fairly close, the other 2. But I think Detroit, Jared Goff, there's just a little something in the air. They're not going to go winless. They're not. Or winless and just with a tie either.
It feels like they're due to get one.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Like, I don't think that the franchise goes 0 in the season like twice. Need
them healthy.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to our quick hitters of the day. Arky, where are you starting with your quick hitter?
First round of the Maui Invitational. Thank you very much. That game goes at 3
Aloha.
o'clock Central Time. Aloha, indeed. Although I think that game got moved. The tournament got moved to Charleston, if I'm not mistaken. But
that's a bummer.
Yeah, aloha, Atlantic Ocean, I guess. So I think Houston's 8.5-point favorite in this game, and I think it's for good reason. At Houston versus Butler, by the way, for that game. Yeah, that's what I got. So I want you to pay attention to one guy tonight or this afternoon.
Okay.
Marcus Sasser for the Houston Cougars. Kid is phenomenal. He's the 8th leading scorer in the country, and this team of his is special. Like, this is a Final Four type team, depending on the bracket, how they get it. They're that good, and their defense is a great, great defense. I think Butler has struggled. They got punched in the mouth hard by Michigan State in their last game. Lost to 21, I think. And I think Marcus Sasser in Houston puts on a show in the very first game. I think they win double digits easy in this first game against Butler, the Maui Invitational. So I'm going to take Houston minus 8.5 in first round of the Maui Invite.
I love the last name Sasser.
It is. It's pretty solid, isn't it?
There's a Bud Sasser who played for Mizzou, I believe.
Mm-hmm. He is. You're just a Sasser lady. You're a Sasser girl.
See, it's sassy, Sasser, love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm heading over, Arky, to the NBA. The Hornets, who are 10-8, 4-6 on the road, at the Wizards, who are 11-5, 7-1 at home. The Wizards are currently third in the East. Hornets are just 2 spots below them at number 5. Wizards are the 3.5-point favorite as it stands, with a total of 215. The Hornets have had a bit of a wonky season. They started November losing 5 straight, followed by a hot streak of winning 5 straight after that, before their loss to Atlanta this Saturday. The Wizards have been a little more consistent, having won 6 of their last 10. The Hornets are averaging 112.3 points per game, with Miles Bridges leading the way for Charlotte, averaging 21.6 points per game. Washington is consistently putting up 106 points per game, while Bradley Beal leads the Wizards in scoring at 23.7. As for the trends, Charlotte is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 road games and 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. Meanwhile, the Wizards are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 home games. So, do we make it 5? With that said, I'm going to roll with the Wizards at home, minus 4.5. But as for the total, the under is 5-1 in Charlotte's last 6 and 8-1 in Washington's last 9. So, while I'm not going to take it, I would lean the under here of 215.
I'm going to add a little bedlam action into your face already on this Monday. Get you ready for the weekend. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State this weekend. Oklahoma State's a 3.5-point favorite, and for good reason. Oklahoma is switching quarterbacks yet again, like they're just pulling dudes. I don't know how Lincoln Riley's getting away with it, to be honest with you. I think it's a byproduct of the conference itself and the level of competition. But they've been in some dangerous matchups they probably shouldn't have been this season. They're going to go into a good Oklahoma State team who, if you haven't been paying a ton of attention to them, they are completely different than what you expected Oklahoma State to be over the last decade under Mike Gundy. They're doing it all with their defense. They are a much more conservative, pro-style type offense as opposed to their spread-out offense that they used to be. And they're doing it all with defense. Literally, they're top 10 in all the major categories: rush defense, pass defense, scoring defense, total defense. Like, they are a machine on that side of the ball. And they're already into the Big 12 championship game, and they want badly to win this game because Mike Gundy never wins this game. He never wins this game. Now, Oklahoma still needs a win or a Baylor loss to get into the Big 12 championship game. I know they're going to be super motivated, but I don't know if motivation is going to matter that much for Oklahoma. I think they're a flawed team who, when they go up against better defensive teams, they struggle. I think Oklahoma State is a very interesting play to pay attention to. Let's watch this number through the week. I'm not ready to make a pick on it yet, but I am saying that the 3.5 may be coming a little closer to Oklahoma, and you might be able to get this a little cheaper at the end of the week.
Okay. Love the good Bedlam rivalry. OU, by the way, did not let me down this weekend like we thought they might. Got the win over Iowa State, so that made me very happy. That was part of my good weekend.
Yeah, very good weekend. Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at the Vikings, who are 5-5, 2-3 on the road, at the 49ers, who are 5-5, 1-4 at home. San Francisco is the 2.5-point favorite right now with a total of 48.5. Vikings are currently sitting in second behind Green Bay in the NFC North, while the 49ers find themselves in the third spot in the NFC West. I feel like this one could be a sneaky or, I don't know, not so sneaky good game. These two teams kind of feel like they have similar seasons. By the way, the Vikings have had 3 games go into overtime where they've gone 1-2 in those games. In addition to having somewhat similar seasons, they are also similar on paper. The Vikings are averaging 25.5 points, 49ers at 24.6. Minnesota is allowing an average of 24.4, while San Francisco is averaging 22. Both teams are coming off back-to-back wins. Minnesota's obviously over a good Packers team, and the 49ers had a big win over the Rams in that Monday night game, picking up their first home win and then rolling over Jacksonville this past weekend by 20, as they should. I don't even need to see the trends for this one. I'm feeling the Vikings in this game on the road at plus 2.5. I have more faith in Kirk Cousins than I do Jimmy G, who finished with 341 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in Sunday's game against the Packers. And for what it's worth, the Vikings have covered 3 games in a row. The Vikings are an incredibly stressful team to watch, but as a Chiefs fan, that is obviously where I thrive. So I'm rolling with Minnesota in this one. As for the total, the Vikings have exceeded the number in 3 of their last 5, and the 49ers are 1-4 in reaching this total in their last 5. So basically, since I don't know what to do with the total, I'm just going to stay away from it and take the Vikings as the dogs on the road.
God bless you, 2K, really. The Vikings have bit me in the ass the last month. I'm tired of it. I'm not dealing with it anymore. Look, Kirk Cousins is a historically average 500 against the spread quarterback. If I would play anything, he's due to come back against the spread, and I would take San Francisco. But I'm done. I'm done having Kirk bite me in the backside like that. I'm done. I'm done with it. Screw you, Minnesota.
Fair. That's fair. I haven't dabbled with Minnesota yet this year, so I'm going to see how it goes.
Yeah, all right. Well,
it might just be a one-game thing.
Yeah, I'll root for you, but if we come back on Monday and the Vikings lost by 14, I'll tell you why.
Okay, deal. Yeah. And lastly, our games to look out for. Arky, what are you looking forward to?
So the Ravens, big-time matchup against the Browns this weekend, where the Ravens, I think they get their 4.5-point favorites. It is a huge game, obviously, if Lamar Jackson is healthy. That is the biggest piece of all of this. Because Tyler Huntley, no offense, you can beat the Bears, but, Kayla and I can beat the Bears, okay? So it's not the toughest thing to do in the world right now, especially when you needed a 30-yard pass near the end and a last, 20 seconds ago, a go-ahead touchdown run from your tailback. But here's the thing. Pay attention to the number and pay attention to Lamar Jackson, because he is 82.8% of that team's offense. 82.8% of that team's offense is literally just Lamar Jackson. So if he is a go, that's going to change the total a lot. So right now, if I'm thinking Lamar Jackson's not playing, and I don't have any lean one way or the other where I think he will, I would lean to take the under if he's not playing. But if he is, a lot of numbers are going to change. We're going to pay attention to that big division matchup, because that number will change a lot.
That's a good call out. That could affect them big time. All right, I am also sticking with the NFL. 8-3 Titans at the 7-4 Patriots. Both teams sit atop the AFC South and AFC East, respectively. New England, the 5.5-point favorite with a total of 44.5. Titans have won 6 of their last 8 with some close games mixed in there, and the Patriots have also won 6 of their last 8 and are looking to pick up their 6th in a row. The Patriots are coming off a shutout against the Falcons, while the Titans had an extremely uncharacteristic loss to the Texans, as we mentioned earlier. Mac Jones looks to be improving with each passing week. Derrick Henry still out for the Titans with that foot injury. This feels like another coin flip to me. My gut is telling me the Patriots, but I don't see how the Titans don't play them somewhat close. So I think I'm going to lean Tennessee plus 5.5. I'm not feeling great about it, Arky. However, the last time the Patriots played a team even remotely close, it was against the Chargers back at the end of October, which they won 27-24. So in summary, I'm taking the Titans plus 5.5, and I think I'm going to take the over here of 44.5 as well.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel's not good as a double-digit favorite. He's 0-3 all time. But as an underdog,
fabulous.
Yeah, as an underdog and against his mentor and former coach, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He'll be pretty good. He beat them in the playoffs a couple seasons ago, and he beat them using his old noggin, too. So I don't know where I'm at on this game yet. I would lean sort of the Titans, too, to keep it closer. But I'm not 100% sure on that game. I'm excited for you. Go ahead, take the balls on this game and take it.
Thank you. I'll take one for the team here. All right, that is going to do it for our Monday show here at OutKick Bets. Thank you, Arky, for your expertise as always. I am Kayla Knierim. Don't forget to make your picks at FanDuel.com/OutKick. Best of luck in your betting, friends, and we will see you guys tomorrow.